Hey there, Dion Johnson here, strategic partner, spiritual advisor, and executive power coach to women in board level leadership. I am also the author of this book, Influential Woman, A Fresh Approach to Tackling Inequality and Leading Change at Work. And this book is a really great read. Honestly, I think it's a must read if you are a woman in leadership at any level, really, who wants to impact at high level, wants to influence change, important, meaningful change, compelling change, change that really matters to you, then this book is really going to help you to get there. So go get yourself a copy. Today, I literally have just come off a call with a client, and I'm feeling really fired up. I've had an amazing morning already, and it's just like 10:30, and just feeling really good about the day already. And so I thought I'd come in this energy to share something with you. And what I wanted to share with you today is that we need a new kind of powerful leader. And I'm wondering if that's you. In fact, I'm inviting you to consider that a new kind of powerful is what you represent in your space, in your place of leadership. And here's what I mean by all of that. So if you've been watching my work any at all, you'll hear me talking about it being a new day in leadership. I think that you would have to be living at the bottom of the ocean in a cave somewhere to not realize that there's something qualitatively and even quantitatively different about this season, this time that we find ourselves in board level leadership, in leadership in general. And there are new demands in this new day. There are new requirements to stay effective at this time. There are new things that we have to consider as leaders and as leadership in a whole. There are just there's a new call for us to answer. And it's really about closing the gap between what we say we want to see in the world and the results that we want to create and the results that we're actually creating. So what I mean is that there's this call to um expand business priorities, that no longer is it okay for us to be just focused on making a profit. That's a really key function of business, is to make profit. Let's make no bones about that, that money and profit is a really key performance indicator in business, right? But it's not the only one, especially now, especially since this pandemic, especially in these dynamic and changing and volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous times. Like profit and even power, the way that we've expressed power in the past, is not enough for this new season. There is this call for leadership to care more, to have better impact and create new outcomes around people's well-being, people's ability, access, ability to make their best contribution, like people's wellness, people's health, people both within the organization and in wider society. People really have to matter more to us in business right now. And then there is the planet. We need to care more about how business is impacting the planet. And we have to care more about how business is impacting future generations. This is something that we've been talking about for a long time, but now is the time, now is the new day when we have to go from talking about it to really transforming the way that business impacts people, the planet, and future generations. There's a gap between our aspirations, or things that we talk about, and the impact that we're actually having. And I believe that that gap exists because we're struggling. It's tricky. We're not quite sure how we do both, how we really pursue powerful, profitable business and be good to people and be good to the planet and be good to future generations, because sometimes those two priorities clash. And traditionally, the profit and power priority wins over the desire to be good to people, right? So we need businesses to learn how to do these two things concurrently, simultaneously, together. And that's why I think we need a new kind of leader, that will help business and leadership to understand how it can be ferociously pursuing profit, but also simultaneously and equally ferociously pursuing the well-being of people and society, not making things happen, making things better, and doing no harm in the process. And for that, we need a new kind of leader. For that, we need a new kind of power, expression of power. This kind of leader that I'm thinking about, they are able to, they understand their space, they understand their domain, they speak the language of their domain, they understand the history and the nuances of their industry, but they also understand people. They also understand human nature. They are skilled at ushering in a cultural revolution. They're skilled at helping people to buy into the concept of a spiritual revolution. You know, I remember one time listening to an activist called Gus Speth, and he was talking about climate change and the ecological crisis that we all hear about. And he was saying that, you know, in his expertise, he understood that it was really supposed to be quite simple to get a grip on the climate crisis, that it was really supposed to be quite, like with a few scientific tweaks and a few, a few steps in the science, towards the data and the science and understanding um, and and leadership, we'd be able to just crush the crisis. But what he's realizing now, he says, is that it's much more complicated than just leadership. What we need is a cultural and a spiritual revolution so that people are bought into this, to what needs to happen for climate change to exist. So he was talking about, when he says cultural and spiritual revolution, he's talking about the hearts and minds of people to be transformed, the hearts and minds of people to be different in leadership, that that we now become invested in showing up with greater humanity, greater compassion, greater love, greater understanding of who we really are and why we're really here and what we mean to each other, greater passion for change, greater passion for the higher things that are just as important as profit. There needs to be some kind of shift that happens on the inside of us, and we need the kind of leader that can really make this type of thing happen. When I was thinking about this, I was thinking about um, the difference between the kind of leader that produces profit and the kind of leader that produces this kind of cultural, spiritual shift that we're talking about. And it is like that they're different. They're both valuable types of leadership, but they're different. I keep thinking about whether if you were thinking about building a house, then the kind of leadership you need is really logical, really linear. You need bulldozers, you need cement, you need bricks, you need hard things, you need hard lines, you need architectural drawings, you need a very straightforward, logical, linear, maybe complicated, but still very logical, linear, straightforward rules, the leadership to make this house stand up, right? You need to be in alignment with the laws of building foundations and starting here and doing this in this sequence, this logical process. But what if you want to build a home? What if you want to build a warm home? That's going to be with a completely different type of leadership, right? That's going to be with things like relationship and connection and compassion and listening and hearing and nurturing and love and and bonding. And do you see, it's like a completely different type of leadership that builds a home than the kind of leadership that will build a house. And I think we need both. I think we need both. And that's what I'm calling a new kind of powerful. This new kind of softer power, this new kind of leadership that creates different types of results. Like one type of leadership creates a house, the other kind of leadership creates the kind of complex connection and relationship that builds a home. This is the new kind of powerful that we need right now. This is what we need to see in our world, in our organizations, in our industries, in our communities. And this is a kind of leadership that is rising up right now. I call it a new kind of powerful because it's not the kind of leadership that has been celebrated or even understood in traditional leadership and business. In traditional business leadership, we need to see this rise if we are to succeed at meeting these new demands for business that not only is profitable, but business that makes a real powerful difference to people within the organization and within society, that makes a difference with the planet, that makes a difference with future generations. This is the invitation. And so I'm asking you to consider yourself invited to rise up as a new kind of powerful, the kind of leader that understands humanity, that understands human nuance and understands the complexities of relationships and understands the workings of bias and the workings of you know, old programming and understands how to influence shifts that are really difficult to make. Now, this is the kind of new kind of powerful that we need expressing. Do you see yourself in this? Do you see how you might be able to rise up? I believe that for those who are called and for those who choose to answer the call to be a new kind of powerful in this way, we've got work to do. You know, we need to understand who we are. We need to get our issues handled. We need to look at ourselves and understand who we are, what we're here to do. And we have to personalize this call to lead in this way and prepare for it. We have to get ready to show up in this different, new kind of powerful way in traditional leadership places, right? It's a shift. It's a promotion. It's an elevation of our leadership, and we need to get ready for that. We need to prepare for that. We need to do the work to free ourselves from anything that could hold back that power, that new kind of powerful expression, and that's work. So really, I guess as I'm talking this through, I'm realizing that the invitation to this video is just inviting you to consider yourself invited to a whole new level, a whole new expression, a whole new kind of powerful expression in your organization, your industry, and your field. And that, you know, it's time to get ready for that. And if you want to talk about what that looks like for you, if you want to understand what that involves, if you want to be actively engaged in that process, then I'm inviting you to draw nearer. I'm inviting you to, you know, join my mailing list. I'm inviting you to come read my post, check out my LinkedIn, follow me on LinkedIn. Or even just book some time in my diary so that we can talk through what this means for you personally. If you're hearing anything that I'm saying and it's resonating, that's a clue that we go together. And I'm inviting you to just draw closer and not ignore this call. Not ignore this call. It's time for you to answer the call to be a new kind of powerful. My name's Dion. I'm excited about supporting your rise to this new kind of powerful and looking forward to connecting way more deeply. So click links, get yourself closer, get yourself in, and let's talk. Let's talk. Speak soon.